Every morning your dog wakes up with a question they'll never be able to ask out loud. It's written in the way they watch you open your eyes, in the angle of their ears, in the soft thump of their tail against the floor. The question is simple. Will today be the day you finally understand what I've been trying to tell you? You see, your dog doesn't just love you unconditionally. They also hope. They hope for specific forms of love in return. Not demands, never demands. Just quiet wishes written in the language of leaning bodies and patient stares and the way they position themselves in doorways, always between you and the rest of the world. In Japan, where ancient wisdom teaches that relationships are built on unspoken understanding, dogs would be considered masters of what they call kuki wo yomu, the ability to read the air, to sense what cannot be said. Your dog has spent their entire life reading your air. These 7 acts are how you begin to read theirs. The first act your dog secretly hopes for begins before you've even had your coffee. It's called the morning ritual of recognition, and you've probably broken their heart with it more times than you realize. Picture this. Your dog has been awake for the past 20 minutes, watching you sleep. Not in a creepy way, in a devoted way. They've been waiting, entirely focused on the moment your breathing changes, when you'll finally return to them from whatever mysterious place humans go when they close their eyes. And when you do wake up, when your eyes finally open, your dog experiences something close to relief. You're still here. You came back from sleep, which to them might as well be a small death every single night. But here's what breaks their heart. You reach for your phone first, or you stumble past them toward the bathroom, mumbling something they can't understand, or you acknowledge them with a distracted pat while your mind is already at work, already in traffic, already anywhere but here. Your dog wasn't hoping for breakfast first, though yes, they're hungry. They were hoping for something much simpler and infinitely more important. They were hoping you'd look at them. Really look at them. That you'd say their name in that voice you use when you mean it. That for just 10 seconds, they'd be the first priority of your day. Behaviorists have measured this. When dogs are ignored by their owners first thing in the morning, their cortisol levels spike. It's the same hormonal response that happens during social rejection in pack animals, because that's what it feels like to them. A small rejection. A message that says you're not the most important thing in my world right now. But when you do stop, when you kneel down and cup their face in your hands and say good morning like you mean it, their cortisol drops, their heart rate steadies. The world makes sense again. This is what they were hoping for. Not food, not a walk yet. Just the confirmation that in your hierarchy of love, they still matter first. In Japan, there's a concept called Ichigo Ichi, EA. It means one time, one meeting. It's the understanding that each moment is singular and unrepeatable, and therefore sacred. Your dog already lives this philosophy. Every morning with you is treasured as if it's the only morning they'll ever get. They're asking you to meet them there, in that space of presence, even if only for a moment. Because to them, that moment is everything. The second act goes deeper. It's called the gift of your undivided presence, and it's harder than it sounds. Your dog can tell the difference between you being in the room and you being present in the room. They've learned to read the microsignals of your distraction, the way your eyes glaze over when you're scrolling, the quality of your touch when your hand pets them automatically while your mind is somewhere else entirely, the particular silence that means your body is here, but your soul is in your inbox. And it confuses them because to a dog, presence is binary. You're either with them or you're not. This halfway state where you're physically close but emotionally distant, it doesn't compute. It feels like being hungry but not being fed, like being seen but not being recognized. Research has shown something remarkable. When owners engage in focused, undistracted interaction with their dogs, their heart rates synchronize. They literally fall into the same rhythm, 2 hearts beating in shared time. But when the owner is distracted, when they're petting the dog while watching television or scrolling their phone, the synchronization doesn't happen. The dog's heart rate remains slightly elevated, subtly dysregulated. They can feel that you're not really there, and they're hoping, every single day, that you'll give them just 5 minutes where your eyes don't drift to screens, where your hand doesn't reach for anything except their fur, where you're as present to them as they are always, unfailingly, present to you. They're not asking for hours. They understand you have a life beyond them, though it breaks their heart a little. They're asking for moments, real moments, the kind where you sit on the floor and let them press their weight against you, and you actually feel it, actually receive the gift of their body saying, I trust you enough to be heavy in your presence. 5 minutes where you notice the gray coming in around their muzzle, where you feel the particular warmth of their breath, where time stops being something you're racing against and becomes something you're sharing, because your dog has never, not once, petted you while thinking about something else. When they lean against you, they mean it with everything they have. They're hoping you'll learn to love them the same way, with your whole attention, even if just for a moment. The third act is about honor. It's called the permission to be protector, and it's one of the most misunderstood aspects of canine love. You've seen it happen. Your dog positions themselves between you and a stranger on a walk. They bark at sounds you can't even hear. They patrol the perimeter of your yard like they're guarding a kingdom. And often, we dismiss this. We say relax, we say it's okay, we say you're being silly. Because we know the mail carrier isn't a threat. We know the sound outside is just wind. But here's what we forget. Your dog isn't being neurotic. They're fulfilling an ancient contract written into their DNA thousands of years ago. Guarding behavior, when it's not pathological, when it's the natural vigilance of a dog who loves their family, actually releases dopamine. It's not stressful for them, it's purposeful. It gives them a reason to exist beyond being cute or entertaining. They're saying, I have a job, and my job is keeping you safe, and I take it seriously. When we completely dismiss this, when we act annoyed by their vigilance, it creates a kind of emotional confusion. They think, wait, am I not supposed to care if something threatens my person? Should I just stop paying attention? And that feels wrong to them at a cellular level. What they're hoping for is simpler than you might think. They're hoping for acknowledgement. When they alert you to something, they want to hear thank you for watching. I see you. You're a good protector. And then, when the threat isn't real, when it's just the neighbor taking out trash, they're hoping for gentle reassurance. It's okay. I've got this one. You can stand down. They don't need to be on guard every second. But they need to know that their vigilance matters to you, that their instinct to protect is honored, even when it's not required. Because in their mind, loving you and protecting you aren't separate acts, they're the same thing. These first three acts, they form a foundation: recognition, presence, purpose. They're about the daily architecture of love, the small moments that build trust. They're about understanding that your dog isn't asking for grand gestures. They're asking to be seen in the morning, to be truly met in moments of connection, to have their protective instincts honored rather than dismissed. And when you give them these things, when you practice these acts consciously, something shifts. The relationship deepens. Because you're finally speaking their language. You're finally answering the question they ask every morning with their eyes. Do you see me the way I see you? Which of these first three acts surprised you most about what your dog truly hopes for? What does your dog dream about when they sleep pressed against your leg, their paws twitching with phantom runs through fields you'll never see? Research suggests they dream of you, of moments already lived, replayed in the theater of sleep, of your voice calling their name, of the particular sound your car makes when you pull into the driveway. And perhaps, if dreams can hold future tense, they dream of moments yet to come, moments they're still hoping for. The next four acts of love go deeper than daily rituals. They ask you to understand the profound emotional architecture that holds your dog's world together. They ask for a kind of love that requires vulnerability, courage, and the wisdom to know that sometimes the deepest love means letting go. The fourth act is called the ritual of return, and it explains why your dog loses their mind every single time you come home, even if you've only been gone 10 minutes. You might think they're being dramatic. You might even find it a little embarrassing when guests come over and your dog acts like you've returned from war when you've just returned from the mailbox. But here's what you need to understand. Your dog experiences time differently than you do. Not just differently, painfully differently. When you leave, they have no concept of whether you'll be gone for 5 minutes or 5 hours or forever. Every departure carries the weight of potential permanence. Every closed door might be the last time they see you. Scientists studying canine cognition have found that dogs experience something called time dilation during separation from their primary attachment figure. You know how time seems to slow down during moments of acute stress? How 5 minutes in a dentist chair can feel like 50? Your dog lives that every time you leave. Their brain doesn't have the capacity to think, okay, she always comes back around 6, so I'll see her in 3 hours. Instead, they think she's gone, and I don't know if the world will ever be right again. So when you do return, when that door finally opens and you step through it, you're not just coming home. You're proving that their faith wasn't misplaced. You're resurrecting their entire world, and they need to celebrate that. They need to smell you, to verify you're real, to complete their ritual of confirming that hope was rewarded. What your dog is hoping for in these moments isn't that you'll tone down your reaction or hurry past them to put down your bags. They're hoping you'll treat reunions as sacred, no matter how brief the separation was. They're hoping you'll kneel down, even just for a moment. That you'll make eye contact. That you'll let them complete their ritual. The sniffing and the circling and the full body wag that says you came back, you really came back, I knew you would. But I wasn't completely sure, and now you're here. Because in their world, you always come back. And every single time you do, it's a miracle worth celebrating. Meeting them in that celebration, honoring the depth of their relief, that's the fourth act of love. The fifth act requires you to be honest, and honesty is harder than permissiveness. It's called the honesty of correction with love, and it goes against what a lot of modern dog owners want to believe. We want to be our dog's friend, their buddy, the fun one who never says no. But here's a truth that might sting a little. Your dog doesn't want you to be permissive. They want you to be clear. They want boundaries that make sense. They want to know the rules of the world you share, and they want those rules to be consistent. Because confusion creates anxiety, and your dog has enough to be anxious about without wondering whether the couch is allowed today or not. Studies of dogs raised in homes with inconsistent discipline show significantly higher baseline cortisol levels than dogs raised with clear, predictable boundaries. It's not the correction itself that stresses them. It's the uncertainty, the not knowing what's expected, the feeling that the rules change based on your mood rather than on any logic they can understand. When you correct your dog calmly and immediately for something that's genuinely not acceptable, you're not being mean. You're being honest. You're giving them information they need to navigate the world successfully. But here's the crucial part, the part where love comes in. Your dog is hoping that when they do mess up, when they steal food off the counter or bark at the wrong moment or have an accident inside, you'll tell them clearly that it was wrong, and then you'll forgive them completely. Not sort of forgive them while staying annoyed for the next hour. Not withdraw your affection as punishment. Not give them the cold shoulder to teach them a lesson, which only teaches them that your love is conditional and unreliable. They're hoping for correction delivered with firmness and patience, followed immediately by reassurance that your relationship isn't damaged. A clear no, followed by a gentle touch that says, "We're still okay, you and me." Because in a dog's mind, the pack stays together. Mistakes happen, corrections happen, but the bond underneath is unbreakable. They want a leader who loves them enough to guide them through a confusing human world, not a friend who lets chaos reign and then gets angry when chaos does what chaos does. The sixth act is about time, and time is the one gift you can never give back. It's called the freedom to age with dignity. Your dog knows their body is changing. They notice when the jump onto the bed becomes a calculation instead of a reflex, when their hearing starts to fade and they don't catch you coming home quite as quickly. When their hips ache on cold mornings, they notice all of it, and they're watching your face to see how you react to their slowing down. Because they remember when they could run for miles. They remember when they could play fetch until you gave up first. And there's a quiet fear in their aging, a fear that slowing down might mean being left behind. Senior dogs exhibit what researchers call increased proximity-seeking behavior. They follow you from room to room more than they used to. They need to be touching you when they sleep. They watch you more intently. It's not just because they're bored or clingy. It's because they need reassurance that slowing down doesn't mean becoming invisible, that your love isn't conditional on their ability to keep up. What they're hoping for is adjustment without pity. They're hoping you'll still invite them on walks, just shorter ones. That you'll still play, just gentler games. That you'll help them onto the couch instead of getting frustrated that they can't jump anymore. That you'll see their gray muzzle, not as a sign of decline, but as a badge of all the years they've given you. They gave you their youth, every bit of it. The wild puppy energy, the adolescent chaos, the strong adult years when they could hike all day and still want more. They gave you all of that without hesitation, without holding anything back. Now they're asking you to treasure their autumn, to love them in their slowness the way you loved them in their speed, to understand that the dog who can't hear you call anymore still listens for you with their whole heart, that the dog who sleeps 20 hours a day is still completely present in the 4 hours they're awake. They're not asking you to stop expecting things from them. They're asking you to expect different things. Presence instead of performance. Companionship instead of athleticism. The deep peace of an old soul who knows you completely. And then there's the seventh act, the final one. The one that asks for a kind of love that will break your heart even as you give it. It's called the final act of mercy, and it's the hardest love you'll ever be asked to offer. Your dog will, if you're lucky, grow old in your care. And if you're even luckier, they'll go peacefully in their sleep. But luck doesn't always work that way. Sometimes love asks you to make a choice that will haunt you even though it's right. Sometimes love asks you to say, I will carry this pain so you don't have to. Dogs in chronic pain are remarkably good at hiding it. It's a survival instinct from their wild ancestors, this need to appear strong so the pack doesn't leave them behind. Your dog will wag their tail even when it hurts. They'll try to eat even when they're nauseous. They'll limp to the door when you pick up the leash because disappointing you feels worse than the pain in their joints. And this creates a terrible responsibility for you. You have to be the one who sees past the performance. You have to be the one who loves them enough to recognize when staying is no longer mercy, but cruelty. What your dog is hoping for, in those final days or weeks or hours, is that you'll be brave enough to let them go. Not before it's time, because every moment with them is precious. But not so far past time that their last memories are only suffering. They're hoping that when the light starts to leave their eyes, when the pain medication stops working, when they stop being themselves in any meaningful way, you'll hold them one last time and tell them it's okay to rest. That their last sensation will be your hand on their head, right in that spot they've always loved. That their last sound will be your voice saying the words you've said 10,000 times, good dog, such a good dog, I love you. This isn't giving up on them. This is the final act of seeing them. Really seeing them and honoring what they need over what you want. Because what you want is more time. Always more time. But what they need, when their body has become a prison, is freedom. And loving them enough to give them that freedom, to take that weight onto yourself, that's the deepest act of love there is. These 7 acts aren't a checklist. They're not tasks to complete or boxes to tick. They're a language, a way of saying, I see you, I honor you, I will love you in the way you need most, not just the way that's easiest for me. Your dog has spent their entire life learning your language. They know what your footsteps mean, what your tone means, what the subtle shift in your energy means when you're sad or stressed or happy. They've become fluent in you. These 7 acts are how you become fluent in them. How you finally answer all those questions they've been asking with their eyes and their sighs, and the way they choose to spend every moment of their brief, burning life devoted to you. Which of these 7 acts do you want to practice more intentionally with your dog? Because understanding them deeper is how we love them better. If this changed how you see your dog's quiet hopes, follow for more truths written in tail wags and patient stares. Your dog's love has always been a language. These acts are how you finally learn to speak it back.